Hello and welcome to my talk for the day. I'm back here in the Synod office as promised, and it's very hot here. In fact, today I made my first visit for several months to Tim Hortons. This morning I received a document outlining some of the events in the lives of former bishops of Fredericton. I always find such papers interesting, but this told me about some things that I was unaware of. It highlighted 2 points for me. The first was the struggles that some of my predecessors had in the things that were happening around them. And secondly, the way in which things have changed, both in the city and the province. In 1971, Bishop Nutter was consecrated at St Dunstan's Church here in the city. The service was broadcast live across the province on CBC. We all know that there have also been significant changes in the streetscapes of our cities, towns and villages. Apparently, for example, Bishop Kingdon, our second bishop, lived in a house on the corner of King and St John's Streets, long demolished to make way for the playhouse. Bishop Richardson saw us through the First World War, at one point visiting the battlefields in France. He also saw the diocese through the great flu pandemic after the war. Bishop Moorhead was in office during the 1939-45 conflict. Bishop O'Neill saw the diocese through the social upheaval between the 1950s and 1960s. The list goes on. During all these periods, we've faced challenges as a province and as a church, and we have come through them, just as we will with the current pandemic. The biggest change that these bishops have seen, with the possible exception of a blip in the late 50s and early 60s, has been the slow but relentless movement of the church and knowledge of God from the centre of our society. I know that each bishop, including me, had ideas about how to arrest the decline, and we have all found it's continued over the decades, slowly accelerating, so that now as we face the latest crisis, COVID-19, we feel adrift, wondering what will happen next and how do we minister in a new era. I can promise you that the answer does not lie with the bishop. It lies with God, and we need to pray very deliberately about the future. As I have said before, we know that God is faithful, but we have to be faithful to God. As we enter into the summer months, which are often a time when things settle a little, now is the opportunity to pray, to take time to listen to God. The Spirit is saying something to the church, but perhaps we're struggling to hear. Let's take time in this season of change to consider God's purpose for us. Once again, thank you for being here, and I trust that your day is going well. If you're able to join us for the litany tonight, that would be great. But if not, God bless and stay safe.